Greetings. This is Dr. Smita Pandey, and hey, you all. In the last video, we were talking about the importance of research and why we need to do research rather in our academic as well as non-academic field for our promotions. और जैसे मैंने बताया है कि वी आर गोइंग टू एक्चुअली वर्क ऑन इट एज अ सीरीज़ और इस सीरीज़ में मैं रिसर्च के बारे में ही बात करूँगी. सो दिस इन द लास्ट वीडियो आई ऑल्सो टोल्ड कि हम लोग अब रोड मैप की बात करेंगे. रोड मैप यानी रिसर्च डिज़ाइन. जब हम ये बना लेते हैं तो हम एक्चुअली एक बॉक्स बना देते हैं कि इस बॉक्स के अंदर में वी आर गोइंग टू वर्क ऑन these things. So you are not going to go beyond that box. That helps you to actually reach the path of your research conclusion, as well as it also helps the person who is going to counter question you to understand that this is the box you are working on. You need not, or they need not ask questions beyond that, because the ultimate answer will be that you have not looked into that aspect of your topic. So that makes this research design very important. और आप रिसर्च डिज़ाइन अगर आप थीसिस 4 साल में करते हैं तो रिसर्च डिज़ाइन बनाते बनाते ही आपको 1-1.5 साल लग जाते हैं इन कन्फर्मिटी. सो यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड हाउ इम्पॉर्टेंट दैट रिसर्च डिज़ाइन इज़, बिकॉज आप हर बार उसमें कुछ चेंजेस होगी. यू आर गोइंग टू योर सुपरवाइज़र, योर गाइड, वो कुछ पूछेंगे, आप कुछ चेंजेस करेंगे, आप खुद भी कुछ समझेंगे, एंड देन यू आर गोइंग टू चेंज अ लॉट अबाउट दिस रिसर्च डिज़ाइन. तो हम भी जब इस पर बात कर रहे हैं रिसर्च पर, तो ऑब्वियसली I am also going to give a lot more time on research design than any other topic in our research. So here I have outplayed all the different parts or sub parts of research design or roadmap if you want to say. बट इनको मैं डिटेल्स में हर एक वीडियो में बात करूँगी, बट कर्सरली मैं आपको आज बता देना चाहती हूँ कि ये क्या हैं एक एक टॉपिक, व्हाट आर दे स्टैंडिंग फॉर. बिकॉज आप जब भी फ्यूचर में आप इस पर आएंगे वापस, तो एक इन शॉर्ट यू विल बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड. डिटेल्स में भी आप बाद में आप वीडियोज़ में डालूँगी. सो टू स्टार्ट विथ, दैट इज़ द टाइटल. ये पहला पॉइंट है टाइटल. बट मेरा सजेशन ये रहेगा कि आप इसको एक वर्किंग टाइटल रखिए जब आप रिसर्च स्टार्ट करते हैं, बिकॉज द वर्किंग टाइटल एक्चुअली हेल्प्स यू टू चेंज इट once you are working on all the aspects. क्योंकि ये बैक एंड फोर्थ होता रहेगा until unless you reach uncertainty कि आप यही करने वाले हैं. आपने बाकी चीज़ें जब डिसाइड कर ली हैं तो टाइटल बिकम्स वेरी क्लियर. एक जैसे होता है ना कि वो बादल छट गए और दिखता है सूरज, उस तरह से आपको टाइटल क्लियरली आपके स्टेटमेंट्स की तरह आ जाएगा. सो बट टू स्टार्ट विथ यू विल हैव टू गिव द टाइटल. और वो टाइटल कैसा कॉम्बिनेशन रहता है कि उसमें जो एक बिगर पिक्चर बताते हैं और उसके साथ में जो आप स्पेसिफिक नीश एरिया उसमें ले रहे हैं वो उसमें आपके टाइटल में दिखता है. तो जब एक पर्सन जब उसको रीड कर रहा है द टाइटल, देन दैट पर्सन एक्चुअली अंडरस्टैंड्स दैट आपका टॉपिक या आपका रिसर्च एरिया किस से रिलेटेड है. एक्सक्यूज मी. द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज़ इंट्रोडक्शन. कभी कभी अलग अलग यूनिवर्सिटीज़ अलग अलग चीज़ों से बात करती है इस पर. तो कभी कभी इंट्रोडक्शन एक्चुअली इन्वॉल्व्स द प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट और स्टेटमेंट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम if you say, but sometimes it is actually talking about the introduction अलग से and statement of problem or SOP अलग से. Whatever is required in your university or in your area of research, please you go ahead with that. It doesn't matter. So if we talk about introduction, definitely जो तुम्हारा broader picture है जो मैंने तुम्हें टाइटल के लिए बताया है, that needs to be included. उसके बाद you are coming to the statement of the problem. Now as the name suggests, it's a statement, but what kind of statement it is? It is the statement of your problem, क्योंकि इसी प्रॉब्लम का तुम सोल्यूशन ढूंढने वाले हो इन योर लास्ट कंक्लूडिंग चैप्टर. क्योंकि जब तुम बताओगे कि ये मेरा प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट है, देन द interviewer, the examiner, the invigilator, the panel, जो भी आपसे इस पर क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे, they are going to ask what is the solution you gave to this problem. So that statement of problem becomes important, and as I told you, ये statement of the problem है. ये सबसे important part है मेरी नज़र में इस research का, क्योंकि ये एक तुम्हारा एरिया बता देता है कि किस एरिया पे तुम वर्क कर रहे हो. तो जब हम प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट पूछ रहे हैं, मैं एक हाइपोथेटिकल एग्जांपल लेती हूँ. सपोज करो जैसे रिसेंटली एक रिसर्च आया है जिसमें उन्होंने कहा है कि पैंडेमिक में जो वर्स्ट हिट है इन द सेक्टर ऑफ एजुकेशन आर गर्ल्स. जो गर्ल्स हैं उनका पॉपुलेशन ड्रास्टिकली रिड्यूस हो गया है इन स्कूल्स बिकॉज दे आर स्टेइंग होम इन द हार्डशिप सिचुएशन वेयर दे आर हेल्पिंग देयर पेरेंट्स. यहाँ पे वो ऑब्वियसली हायर क्लास गर्ल्स की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं. वन हु आर एक्चुअली मे बी इन द लोअर क्लास फैमिलीज़, जो कि जिनको कि सर्वाइव करने के लिए ज़रूरत पड़ती है घर में ज़्यादा लोगों के कमाने की. तो उस अगर मैं उस तरह के अगर रिसर्च से बात करूं या उस तरह का जो डेटा आया है उसकी बात करूं, तो उससे मान लो मैं इंस्पायर होती हूं और मैं एक रिसर्च करती हूं और मैं समझती हूं एक पायलट स्टडी करके कि अरे यार ये तो मतलब जो गर्ल्स स्कूल्स हैं या गर्ल्स हैं जो स्कूल में, आफ्टर अ पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम दे स्टॉप कमिंग टू स्कूल. सो व्हाट इज़ दैट पॉइंट? you find that the girls who are in middle schools like 6th 7th 8th 9th and 10th, they stop coming to schools. So 12 साल 13 साल की लड़कियां स्कूल में आना कम कर देती हैं और they just go out of the schools. So then you find this problem, but then you are not going to work on the whole of the schools in this country. आपको एक लिमिट करनी पड़ेगी अपने आप को. सो देन यू स्टार्ट थिंकिंग मैं किस तरह के स्कूल्स लूँ. मैं रूरल एरिया के स्कूल्स लूँ और मैं अर्बन एरियाज़ के स्कूल लूँ या सेमी अर्बन एरियाज़ के स्कूल लूँ या फिर मेट्रोपोलिस के स्कूल लूँ. व्हाट काइंड ऑफ स्कूल्स आर दिस प्रॉब्लम इज एग्जिस्टिंग. देन यू थिंक ओके द रूरल एरिया स्कूल्स मे बी आई विल नॉट बी एबल टू रीच देयर, और द प्रॉब्लम इज़ नॉट ओनली लाइक द रूरल एरियाज़ में सिर्फ यही prominent problem नहीं है. The girls in the lower classes also are not coming or their attendance is very less. Then I think that I will be, and it will be easier for me if I take my city in which I reside. Then you think okay, I will be taking schools in my area. Then once you start on that, then you think that what kind of schools I am going to take. Am I going to take all the schools? Again, it's a list of the possibility. It will be a problem for me. Then again I think okay, what kind of schools then? Maybe I will be taking government run schools. Then again I come to the issue that there are various government run schools in special cities. Especially cities have major government run schools. Then you think okay, because I am working on girls, I am going to take only the girls schools. So now you have taken the funnel and pinpointed it to the problem that you are only working on girls school, government run schools and middle schools. So here you are taking girls from the age of, maybe you are either limiting yourself from the age group or you are limiting yourself from the classes. So like from the class 6 standard or standard 6 to standard 10th, or maybe girls in the age of 12 years to 16 years. So this is how you are going to work. So there you are picking up the statement of your problem that most of the girls or the population of girls in school reduces once it is reaching the middle school level, or maybe the girls when they hit puberty. This way you are going to limit your problem statement, and you are clearly defining that you are running only for the government run schools and government run girls school, and only the students who are in this particular category and only the girl students. So this way you have decided on your problem statement. Now let's talk about hypothesis. Again, if you are legal study student, you will be talked about it in a various ways. जैसे कोई कह रहा होगा hypothesis नहीं चाहिए, कोई कहता होगा नहीं hypothesis जरूरी है, कोई कहता होगा कि या तो hypothesis करो या research question करो. You will be confused. So here I will just clarify to you that because initially we didn't have empirical study, which I have already told you, then there was very less requirement of hypothesis, but with time we have to now introduce or include rather the empirical studies. Then it becomes important to have an hypothesis. Now hypothesis along with research questions always helps, because research questions makes you understand what you are going to find out. किसके आंसर्स लोगे, यानी जब तुम रिसर्च क्वेश्चंस के आंसर्स लोगे तो तुम ऑटोमेटिकली प्रॉब्लम्स के सोल्यूशन निकालोगे. तो दे आर इंटरकनेक्टेड. दैट इज़ वाई यू नीड टू हैव हाइपोथेसिस एज वेल एज रिसर्च क्वेश्चंस. नाउ व्हाट इज़ हाइपोथेसिस? इट्स जस्ट अ स्टेटमेंट. आप एक hypothetically you are thinking, but it is not like Suraj Chand kind of hypothetically. You are thinking hypothetically on your problem statement that this might be the reason, or this particular problem exists. First you have to prove that, then this might be the reason for this problem, you have to prove that. So that way hypothesis is something which you are either negating in your last chapter, or you are confirming in your last chapter. So that is how hypothesis works. So there we will be discussing it at length in our future videos. Let's talk about research questions again. Now research questions are very 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 important to be framed in a proper manner, क्योंकि आप रिसर्च क्वेश्चंस के आंसर्स ही ढूंढोगे अपने पूरे रिसर्च में. सो रिसर्च क्वेश्चंस they are framed in such a way that they will be matching one of the objectives of your research. And once your objectives are fulfilled, you will be actually the significance will be clear. Apart from that, each question will be answered in I mean, if you are talking about, like, it's not like yahi hota hai, but it becomes easier to do that if you are answering each research question in one of the chapters. So don't make lengthy research questions. You stick to maybe 3 to 4 research questions, because apart from your first chapter, which will be the research design, and the last chapter, which will be the conclusion, then there will be an analysis of your data. So there are 3 to 4 chapters in between that will be answering your research questions. So stick to lesser number of research questions so that they are answered in your chapters. So if I am talking about research questions here, then automatically I am actually telling you the objectives, I am automatically telling you about the chapters and the significance, how it will be important, because you will answer and you will find out the problems ka solution. So the significance will be coming out from there. So next topic is literature review. Now literature review is again very 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 important, क्योंकि literature review जब तुम present कर रहे हो, then you are actually telling that, see, I have done the review of all the literature present, which I could access obviously in my natural world. When I have done the literature review, I am able to understand that no one has done the similar research as I have done. That is how you see this literature review. It actually authenticates the situation when you are asked the question, what is the new or novel thing which you are presenting in this research? That will be asked. What is the novelty of your research? What is the issue which you have dealt with and it has not been dealt with initially? So that literature review will actually help you in future when you are sitting in front of the panel and you are defending your research. So literature review is not only literature in the form of books, but it is in the form of articles, researches by anyone else, and datas or anything which is existent in the literary world as literature. So from there you will be coming to the objectives, which I have already discussed with you. Then the methodology, again very 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 important aspect of research, because once you are confirmed with your methodology, that should be, that methodology should aim to first decide your universe, your population, and then how you are going to collect the data, because that will be equivalent to your problem statement. that आपके जो प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट है उनके आपको आंसर उस मेथडोलॉजी के थ्रू ही मिलने हैं. So that methodology is very much important to actually decide on that how you are going to go about with your research. किस method से तुम ये research कर रहे हो, because that area also makes your research different from maybe someone else's research. So literature review में you might be finding someone who doing the similar research as you, but the methodology which you have adopted might not have been adopted by that person. So initially, if you are doing legal studies or legal research, then mostly it was doctrinal, but as I told you, now it is empirical is actually included in it, non-doctrinal is included. So methodology के बहुत सारे अलग अलग तरीके हो जाते हैं, which we are going to discuss in details. Then the delimitation. Now here you are limiting yourself, because you have to limit. You cannot do research बिना limit के. So you have to decide on the universe, you have to decide on the jurisdiction, you have to decide on the population, and you have to decide on the time. Money factor is also important. All those things, they are limiting. And once you are telling that this is my limit, that I am only going to do research in city or town area, in this city, in this town, and in only government schools, and only in girls schools, and I am only going to look into this population area, then it actually you are limiting yourself in this particular region, and no one can dare to ask you questions beyond that, because as I told you that if you are talking about the reduction in amount of girls going to school, then it can also be considered from primary school perspective, also after the pandemic, or maybe rural areas, or semi-urban, urban areas, towns, or metropolis. So you are not considering those, you are only considering your population, which is this particular area. So universe and population, jurisdiction is all decided, you are presenting it over here. Significance, obviously you have to tell why your research is important, and as it is a socio-legal kind of research, obviously you are going to give the significance from the perspective of it helping society, or it being necessary for society, that once you are coming up with the problem which is existent in society, you are going to give the solution to that. So that is again becoming important here. And then the chapterization, as I told you, बहुत easy method ये है कि जो research question है उसके हिसाब से आपका chapters होता है, and the first chapter is always the research design, last chapter is always the conclusion. There is one data analysis, both empirical and doctrinal analysis, which will be giving answers to your research questions. Then there will be the historical aspects to it. Now when you are doing your research, when you are defending your title, जब आप पहली बार प्रेजेंटेशन करते हैं, यू आर डिफेंडिंग योर टाइटल, योर सिनॉप्सिस, योर रिसर्च डिज़ाइन rather, then you are writing everything in future tense, that you are going to do this, you are going to do that, this will be the aim, this will be the objective. But once you are done with it, this is your first chapter, so please remember that you are going to convert it into past tense. Once your thesis is done, you are converting the research design into past tense. So we will be discussing all of them in our next video, and stay tuned for it in the next video.